Listen, what scares a crowd more? A killer? Or a person who refuses to play the part? Not a villain, not a monster. Just someone who will not cry on cue, will not swear the right oaths, will not lie to make everyone comfortable. If the world is indifferent, why do we demand theater from each other? Why does the one who will not step on stage feel more dangerous than the one who performs the role to the end? A man wakes to news his mother has died. The message is plain, like a card slid under a door. He travels, buys a black tie that does not fit his neck, stands in a room where the light is too white and the air smells like flowers that have given up. At the funeral, he does not cry. The room is bright, the air is heavy. The world makes a pencil mark. Something is off. A light mark, erasable, and yet the graphite is hard. People read faces like weather. They want a forecast they already believe, sunny with a chance of tears. He breathes, he blinks, he says little. He is not cruel, he is not proud. He is tired. Grief moves through him the way a slow wind moves through a field, visible at the edges, not in the center. But the room is hungry for scenes. The room remembers the rules. Cry now. Whisper the correct adjectives. Offer the proper oath. The man declines to improvise. He declines to counterfeit. After the funeral, the world returns to its errands. Shoes on gravel. Doors that close too loudly. Small talk with a moral. A friend offers a script. You must be devastated. He nods, because nodding is easier than translating a weather that has not chosen a name. He eats bread that tastes like dust. He sleeps badly. Morning arrives like a clerk with a clipboard. Later, heat, beach, the glare of water. He walks because walking is simpler than explaining. The sun behaves like a third character, a stubborn spotlight that refuses to dim. It blinds, it dries, it elbows. The light flickers like a signal no one can read, then floods the stage until the eyes ache. Sand works into his sandals one grain at a time, an army of tiny decisions he never made. Imagine this. You are a body under a law older than thought. You squint. Your pulse climbs one stair. Sweat meets salt. A blade shines at the wrong angle and the wrong second. Accident loves sweat. Accident loves the half-inch. A step becomes a sentence. Breath becomes a verdict. The man who never acts for the audience takes one step, and the role finds him. Not a role he wrote, not a role he wanted. A role assigned by a world that loves a tidy plot and hates a silent page. Listen again. We demand a story with noble motives and clean lines. We expect the sun to behave like a lamp we can switch off. We expect ourselves to be captains when the weather is a fist. He is not a captain. He is a person under a light that refuses mercy. The scene will be replayed by people who were not there. They will pause and point and say where the music should have swelled. They will forget that heat is a kind of gravity. They will forget how little we command when the afternoon decides to lean on us. I am not here to excuse. I am here to name the weight, the glare, the salt, the breath, the inch. The way chance stands beside choice and smirks. The way a life can pivot on a step that was not even a step. More like a stutter in the body, a flinch under the old sun. Hold that in your palm. Feel how warm it is. Feel how heavy it is, though it looks like nothing.
Now the lights change. A courtroom, crowded and warm. People are calmer when guilt arrives with ceremony. We forgive a crime that bows correctly. We struggle with dry honesty. I did not feel it. No soundtrack. No apology designed for the camera. The air tastes like dust and judgment. The clock ticks like a metronome set by a stranger. They judge more than the act. They judge the person who skipped the expected scenes. No tears at the grave. No noble monologue about love. No tidy reason why. He had "it happened that way," not "it happened as it should." We love truth when it kneels. We resent truth when it stands. The prosecutor lifts a finger and points not at the event, but at the man's refusal to decorate it, as if cloth around the wound could change the wound. Witnesses speak as if they are casting directors. They audition him for roles he never wanted. Good son, proper lover, safe citizen. He does not fit. He will not pretend to fit. You can watch the jury relax whenever someone says the right moral word, the kind that lets society see itself in a kind mirror. You can watch them tense whenever the man speaks plainly. Plain speech shows plain facts. Plain facts do not clap for us. Listen, there is a secret law most of us obey. Performance softens punishment. Say the phrases, and we will lower the sentence in our hearts. Refuse the phrases, and we will raise it. We are soothed by remorse, with perfect lighting, and angered by a face that refuses stage directions. The charge becomes double, the act and the absence of the ritual. Night, a cell, no audience. The room breathes like an animal that slept under the sea. A single bulb hums. Concrete holds the day like a hot stone. He sits with his breath and the heavy quiet. The world never promised meaning. No guarantees, no receipts, no fairness clause. Only air, only pulse. He counts the seconds, because counting is older than despair. He listens to his own blood, because that is the one story that will not lie. The mind begins its tricks. It wants to make a fable out of what happened. It wants to crown the minute with a moral. He lets the minute be a minute. He lets the dark be dark. He does not invent a beautiful reason. He does not decorate the night. He says the smallest true sentence a person can say: I exist. He repeats it the way a monk repeats a prayer, not to be persuaded, but to be present. I exist. That is already a lot. He remembers the funeral room. He remembers the glare of water. He refuses to fold these into a theater. He refuses to turn his face into a mask. Strength without a pose looks like nothing from the hallway. Inside the cell, it feels like a wall that does not fall. It feels like a chair that does not break. It feels like a breath that belongs to him and not to the crowd. You can hate him for this. You can call it cold. But consider the alternative, the life that lives by applause, the life that trims its truth to fit a stage built by strangers. That life smiles when told. That life kneels on command. It is praised for being easy to read. It is punished later, in private, by a mirror that knows better. The cell offers him something the court never will, the chance to stand without lines. Remember this line and take it with you. The world is quiet, and still we can choose the way we stand in silence. That choice is small. That choice is everything. Outside the bars, the city hums like a hive. Inside the bars, a person decides how much of himself he will lease to the crowd. He decides to keep a peace that does not perform. He discovers it is the only peace that can bear weight.
Listen. People call Camus a philosopher of the absurd. Do not confuse absurd with nonsense. Nonsense shrugs. Absurd stares. Nonsense says nothing means anything. Absurd says two forces collide. Our stubborn hunger for a world that explains itself, and a world that does not. Our need for the story meets the silence of the sky. Two bulls lock horns. The dust rises. Neither animal yields. What does Camus ask of us? He does not ask us to love chaos. He does not ask us to worship pain. He asks us to stop lying. Do not invent a rescue fable. Do not drown the quiet in trumpets borrowed from someone else's parade. Do not hang curtains on a cliff and call it a stage. Look into the gap and refuse to lie. Keep your eyes open when your comfort begs to be blind. Keep your tongue clean when your fear begs for a speech. Honesty that stays warm because it stays alive. Not cold truth that mocks the living, but a steady truth that honors what is here. Sunlight on a wall, dust in the beam, coffee in a chipped mug, the roughness of a table, your chest lifting once, then once more. This is not small. This is the country we truly live in. You cannot build a human life on guarantees that never arrive. You can build one on air and pulse and a clear refusal to pretend. Imagine another room, a man and a boulder. No finish line, no medal for meaning. He pushes the stone again and again. People say, this is hell. They are not wrong. But Camus takes the picture and turns the frame a few degrees. He says, imagine him happy. The sentence offends the sentimental. It offends the cynical. Good, let it offend. Consider what kind of happiness this must be. Not the sugar that melts on the tongue. Not the party that ends. A different substance. A clear yes said to a life without guarantees. A consent to the truth that does not request applause. Why would he be happy? Not because the stone goes light. Because he looks at his forever and says, it is mine. He stops spending his days wishing for another assignment. He stops bargaining for a door that does not exist. He gives up the dream of a sky that will write him a letter. He gives up, and in that giving up, he receives. He receives the one thing that cannot be stolen by a judge, a boss, a crowd, or a calendar. An aphorism for your pocket. Happiness here is consent to the truth. It is a verb, not a weather. It is a posture, not a prize. It is a way of touching the day as it is, with hands that do not clutch and a jaw that does not grind. He says yes without music. He says yes without a witness. He says yes to the morning, yes to the stone, yes to the sweat, yes to the hour that will never explain itself. He is not smiling for a camera. He is not chanting for a team. He is simply not lying. Bring that back to the stranger in the cell. Bring it back to the courtroom and the beach. Consent to the truth does not erase what happened. It erases the need to twist it into a play that makes us look better. It does not remove responsibility. It removes a costume. Under the costume is a person who knows how to carry weight because he stopped pretending the weight was silk. Under the costume is a spine.
Now we return to us. Where is our trial today? In the feed, in comments, in kitchens and offices. Social media did not amplify justice. It amplified the stage. We hand each other scripts, when to laugh, when to rage, how to grieve, whom to applaud. We publish penalties for failing to perform the ritual. Honesty without a show feels dangerous because it exposes the open space between us and the world. It says the quiet thing. The sky will not clap. Neither should we, unless there is something real to praise. Another thread, accident. We like to think we are in control, presidents of our minutes. Count the times heat made you cruel. Count the times fatigue made you strange. Count the decisions a whisper too late or a whisper too soon. Count the glare on glass. Admitting chance does not erase responsibility. It erases the fantasy that we are all-powerful directors. Life has too much sun and too few curtains. Own your steps. Admit the weather. That is adulthood, not excuse. And then, freedom. We often define freedom as picking the right script, the one that gets the ovation. Camus points at a harder form, living without one. Freedom is not a password that clicks everything into place. Freedom is walking forward with no guarantees. Terrifying, until you taste it. Then it is the only taste that is not artificial. If you want to feel it, remove one mask at a time. Start with the easy one, the one you wear to be invited to the table. Sit without it. See who stays. 3 small windows. 1. A funeral where someone stands quiet. The silence is not cruelty. It is truth. A truth that refuses to counterfeit itself to settle the room. You do not know what moves in another person's weather. Let them be a person, not a performance. It will make your heart slower and better. 2. The ordinary day. Breakfast, a red light, the mailbox. Do one thing because it is, not because it looks right when posted. Sip the coffee as if it were older than you. Feel the key turn. Call a friend without an agenda. These are not small acts. They are a refusal to outsource your life to the theater of approval. They are a way of standing inside the silence without panic. 3. A court that weighs roles more than acts. You have seen this court at work. You have helped it work. Withdraw 1 inch of your service. The next time someone demands the correct ritual instead of the plain fact, do not hand them a mask. Hand them the fact. It will not make you popular. It will make you real. Camus offers no soothing moral. He leaves the warmth of honesty. Yes, the world is quiet. We can still tell the truth, first to ourselves, then to each other. We can stop baptizing accident as destiny, and accept that "it just happened" is often the most accurate line we have. We can stop demanding the proper scene from others and let them be as they are. That permission is a kind of love. The air will not explain you, but it is real, and so are you. Sometimes that is enough to keep walking. If you want to practice, take this. Once a day, for 1 minute, do nothing that performs. Stand still. Breathe. Do not compose a caption. Do not prepare your defense. Be a person, unfilmed. Then return to your errands with less theater in your hands. Final question. Where are you acting for applause today? And will you play the scene without it, even if the room stays cold? If you can, even once,
The night will feel different, not warmer, truer. And truth, when it is paid for, glows like a candle in a room built of stone.